Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And thanks to Millennial Mike, we are going to chop it up and look at Valuetainment's next video.
But let me continue. Remember at the beginning when we talked about the fact that less disposable income leads to less spending, lower business profits, layoffs, unemployment, foreclosure, bankruptcies, divorce, crime, drugs, OD, alcohol, protest, riots. Okay, what does this lead to? Layoffs. There's layoffs everywhere. Compass, I love Compass. I've done business with Compass for many, many years. They're great. Compass is letting go 10% of their sales. Compass is like the high-end community realtors. If you work at Compass, it's very prestigious. They're letting go of 10%. Okay. Redfin announced they're laying off a ton of people. Chase, they're laying off just 1,000 loan officers. And then you're seeing layoffs in all these other industries. But this is what Freddie Mac's deputy chief economist, Len Kiefer, said last week, tweeted about this. He said, the U.S. housing market is at the beginning stages of the most significant contraction in activity since 2006. By the way, keep in mind, he doesn't get paid to do this. He's in the industry. So Freddie Mac knows something about this because they've been through this before, but they're also saying it's going to be worse than 2006, which the last one I'm going to share with you in this topic is foreclosures. Why foreclosures this early? Aren't foreclosures are supposed to happen 6 months from now, maybe next year? What would you say is the increase in percentage of foreclosures that we have in 2022 compared to last year, same time? What do you think the increase is? 20% more foreclosures? 40% more foreclosures? 60% more foreclosures? Wow, it's not gonna be 100%, right? You ready? We have 700% more foreclosures this year, same time than we did last year. Let me say that one more time. 700%. 23,204 foreclosures, according to the database management company ATTOM, Data Solutions. That's 700%, and it's just getting started, okay? These are the kind of things when you watch Big Short. Did you notice how cocky and arrogant everybody was? Lehman's going out of business? You're crazy. WAMU going out? It never happened to WAMU. It's a 300 with AIG. Oh, then would be Merrill Lynch, Countrywide, New Century. You're out of your mind. That'll never happen. And then everybody said, holy shit, it's happening.
Wow.
One of your favorite things to talk about. Oh my God, foreclosures are up. Well, yes, compared to a year when we weren't allowed to have foreclosures because of forbearance. But if you compare it to just a couple years ago, 2019, we're up 700% over 2021 and 2020, but not over 2019 or 2018 or 2017.
Yeah. So again, his whole premise here is this is going to be worse than 2008. Well, okay, let's talk about 2008. Do you remember how many foreclosures we had in 2008?
I was 17, so I don't.
I believe the answer is 2.2 million. So this is very different than last time. Again, remember our earlier discussion. We had forced sellers last time. Strategic default was a thing. It was cheaper to rent than own a home. That's just not going to happen today. So again, I don't know what the percentage is. 22,000 over 2.2 million. That's got to be like 0.00. Let's just actually do the math. Let's see. Let's just see. So 22,000, we'll just round it, divided by 2.2 million. That's 0.01%, not 1%, 0.01%. So if you're going to call 0.01% as bad as last time, we need to go back to math class because that's not even close. But here's the real deal. The number of foreclosures being not 1%, but 0.01% lower should show you he has motivation to get you in his funnel. But again, I lived through the last crash. I had investments through the last crash. I can tell you the most fundamental difference is banks will not let it happen again. We shut the economy down. What did banks do? They just created forbearance. There was a lot of channels talking about foreclosures coming because we had 4.3 million people in forbearance for more than a year. Well, that's now over, and less than 1% went to foreclosure. That means 99% of the people were cured, is the lending term. So not only do we not have forced sellers, we also have an environment where lenders are incented not to repeat the disaster because they got smoked last time. They'll do 40-year mortgages. They'll do seconds. They'll do anything they can not to foreclose. So Patrick, this is bad, man. 22,000 foreclosures, 700%. That means we had 3,000 last year. It was illegal to do foreclosures. Shame on you. You're better than that. Patrick, you're better than that. That's nuts. That's just intellectually dishonest, in my opinion.
What I thought was interesting was one of the things you've been saying for a while is that we are going to have a crash in transactions.
Mm-hmm.
And in that tweet that was brought up, it said that the US is on pace for the largest crash in activity since 2006. Well, it was very purposefully worded. It didn't say the largest crash in prices since 2006. It said activity. Well, what is activity? Transactions being completed. Very different.
Yeah, no, activity equals a transaction. He was not commenting on price at all. He wasn't even commenting on total values. Because again, you could have a crash in transactions, but total values go up. Folks, we are going to have and again, what people don't realize is I've done the math back to the 70s. We're going to have the largest crash in transactions because again, we don't have the forced sellers. One of the reasons that 07, 08, 09, and 10 were actually okay transaction wise is because banks were the forced sellers. Right now we have owners who don't have to sell. Could that change next year? Absolutely. It's not set up to change right now. So, but again, I think it is so intellectually dishonest to say with a straight face that 700% increase in foreclosures is ominous. It's 0.01% of last time. And again, this whole video started with worse than 08. So dishonest. And then to go from 3,000 foreclosures to 21,000 is just, it's just intellectually dishonest. So bad. Shame on you. You're better than that.
Yeah, the final thing that I'll bring up that I've chatted about once or twice before is even during the height of the COVID recession, the flash crash, when people were losing their jobs and not able to make mortgage payments, the thought of millions of people losing their houses and losing their homes to foreclosure happening again. Whichever political party is in power, it doesn't matter. Whichever one is in power, it's going to be so bad for them. They will not allow it to occur. Now, whether you agree with that or not, but they'll do what they did last time, which was, okay, eviction moratoriums, forbearance. We're going to bend and break every rule and put it on the landlord, put it on the business owner, but we are not letting homeowners lose their houses on our watch because that's political suicide for at least a decade. So I cannot see massive waves of foreclosures happening again, at least not now, because it's still too close to when it happened last time, and they're not going to bite that bullet.
No, banks learned their lesson. They've tried it both ways. It is far more profitable to extend and pretend versus foreclose on everyone. Because again, it wasn't the first foreclosures that were the problem. It was the cascading effect. And again, let's not forget 98% of loans are 30-year fixed that were originated in 2021. So again, I go back to what is his motivation? He wants you in his funnel. He wants to sell you services and masterminds. And I think so far, the thing that is most intellectually dishonest is trying to scare you about 23,000 foreclosures being 700%. It's 0.01% of last time. That is nowhere close, and it's not going to get close. So, all right, last one. We got one more, right?
I think this is the last clip. Yeah.
All right.